Mike's checked. I see.
It's Magical Theory podcast time.
Jeff made up a jingle while we were setting up for today's episode.
It's Magical Theory podcast time.
Yep, that's it. That's
You
the
can
song.
say those words in any tone of voice and at any rhythm.
Okay. But it's in that tune. It's Magical Theory podcast time.
Hello. I'm also in my official podcasting gear. Formal wear.
It wasn't that many. I did count how many times you've
worn this. It
will
be, because now it's winter and I'm going to wear it every Sunday.
Jeff is wearing the official. I'm wearing my Hogwarts alumni
I only
shirt.
have a couple of tops for cold weather. So I wear them.
You have multiple different WizardPhD hoodies.
Yes,
though.
I do, and I wore them both.
And he only wears the red one.
Well,
I'm gonna get you a red. I'm gonna get you a red, regular one, a red Magical Theory one, so that you can wear it for this podcast. We have our little puppy here. A puppy puppy does have a hoodie.
He made a groaning noise. We gotta sort that out later.
Oh, he has beautiful
teeth.
Comfy. Okay, the Game Awards were this Thursday.
Yes, they were.
A celebration in gaming. We watched the full thing. I co-streamed it. I was super hyped that It Takes Two won Game of the Year, and then we played it yesterday.
Yes.
And it was cute because we hadn't played it in a while. And
no, it's been a long time.
The area that we're in is like a little Christmas themed winter town. It was like a snow globe. It was adorable.
I would have said it was intentional, except it's not intentional. It's just luck.
We cannot take credit for that at all. I mean, it's just a fun, enjoyable game. And that one in particular, there's a lot of like goofy things that you could do. So Jeff was pegging me with snowballs like over and over. He launched
on the skit. You were skating.
You launched a resident into the universe.
Yes, I did.
on a swing, and you just like. And we actually unlocked a couple of achievements. Shuffleboard. We did play shuffleboard. I was not very good at it. I mean, it's like it was a curling board because it was just straight up ice and you're just pushing these little things across. And then I played Inscription, which is my game of the year. And so there was a point when I get frustrated playing games because I don't like losing or I don't like failing, I guess is the more general, like what is the deal with Prouflanet thing. But so I did say to Jeff at some point, I was like, I hate this game.
Yeah, you did say that to me.
But then I kept going.
So couldn't beat something.
There's a difference between like, I hate this game, like I'm never going to play it again. And then I hate this game, but I'm going to keep going,
course,
you know?
Yes,
so it's the latter. So
when you said it, I wasn't quite sure because the tone was forceful enough. That
I was so angry. I had been playing for
not enjoying this.
I was playing for like 2 hours straight and I like could not get past it. Or 2 hours might be
almost
overstatement.
Said like maybe you should set it down.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what?
I did. And then the next morning I
You're
beat
an adult
it.
Human.
I am an adult human. I beat it. I thought I finished the game, but I was just in part 1. Yeah. So the thing about this game is that I'm
loving the journey.
Yeah, each new area that I get to, I'm like, oh my God, this is way better than the last one. Like it keeps amping up. So I'm excited to see what happens as I continue on with that game. So Inscription, highly recommend. Then in my non-sponsored, I said this last time too, my non-sponsored product promo, I bought myself a Christmas present, the Backbone one, which is basically a controller that you attach your phone to. So it's this little controller looking thing. This is where I plug in my iPhone and then it kind of like stretches out and then latches on.
Winnie is curious.
Yeah, I was playing with this, right, Winnie? So I played it a lot yesterday. And I got it specifically, I was using Steam Link to connect to my Steam games. So I was like, my computer was on and it was connected to my desktop and I was just playing in bed my game. And I also plan to use it I have Xbox Game Pass.
I think you've already been enjoying it.
Using cloud gaming. Oh, it's super good. I think the only thing I need to figure out is like how to get this charging port to like be consistent so that I can charge while I'm playing. Because, I guess I could not do that and just like let my phone battery die out so I'm not playing it like all day. That would be more appropriate. But
whatever.
Yeah, for sure. And wait, are you talking about the Backbone, Rita?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's I really enjoy it. I also like playing games like on the couch or in bed. So it brings I almost ordered or tried to order the Steam Deck, which is the same kind of thing. It's Steam's version of their own handheld console where you would be able to play Steam games on like a mobile, like on the go type thing. And yeah,
it's Magical Theory podcast time.
It's Magical Theory This is our new theme song. Ready? One's ready.
Turn to page 248, The Goblet of Fire. Today's lesson is called Judge Not Lest.
Lest what?
The rest is
it's up to you.
Left to the reader. The chapter begins with our trio and the rest of Hogwarts bustling with excitement over their new guests. Ron is particularly enamored with Viktor Krum, but also falls for a girl from Beauxbatons. Hermione seems to be over the pageantry of it all, maybe because it feels like Hogwarts is getting ignored. Harry is simply taking it all in. The other judges, Ludo, Bagman, and Bartemius Crouch, arrive, and the Goblet of Fire is revealed. Dumbledore has drawn an age line to ensure the new 17 or older rule, which many younger students put to the test and have only newly sprouted beards to show for it. Karkaroff is stunned by Harry and flustered by Moody. Hagrid is enamored by Madame Maxime, and Mr. Crouch seems bored. Eventually, the goblet makes its decisions and the champions are announced. Viktor Krum from Durmstrang, Fleur Delacour from Beauxbatons.
Yep.
I'm never going to say it that way. Cedric Diggory from Hogwarts, and Harry Potter.
Well, what's funny is that you started saying it as Beauxbatons.
Beauxbaton.
And I told you, no, you got to say it like, I don't know.
Well, now I'm cultured and wise. And it's
and I'm like, it's
Beauxbaton.
French. No, it's Beauxbatons, apparently.
All right, well.
Anyway, Ron is clearly not the biggest Viktor Krum fan if he didn't even know Krum was still in school. I'm sorry. You are not a super fan. You got to know.
Maybe he just assumed.
I guess that's fair.
Plus, I think also it's established maybe at some point that Durmstrang has a later graduation. Like they start at different years, so he might be 18, I think. I could be wrong about that, but...
Yeah, but like you don't think that they have like Quidditch World Cup trading cards and it's like Viktor Krum,
this
Durmstrang,
is an excellent
you know?
point. You don't think there's a special chocolate frog edition where there's current Quidditch players? Or like Quidditch edition, Quidditch
I'm
through
just
the
saying,
ages.
Ron is not a super fan because he did not know this little, kind of major fact about Viktor Krum.
Yeah.
And then he was just shocked. He was like, oh, Krum's here.
Yeah.
Also,
yeah,
I love Hermione, but
right.
Look, Hermione at this point for me is she actually, so Logan asked in the comments for our last video about whether we take notes during the chapter and like how we do it. I do. I won't speak for Jeff, but the way I take notes when we read the chapter is it's basically an annotation of my live reaction as I'm reading the chapter.
What was your live reaction with Hermione? Some form of neediness?
Hermione at this point for me feels like, we've been having discussions actually recently about not the idea of we can't have nice things, but the idea that like just the yucking your yum sort of thing. So like consistently when Hermione's irritated, it's usually because
Ron is excited.
Everyone, not just Ron, but everyone else. Maybe it is more related to Ron. So we have like the whole, in this situation, it's like Crum and Durmstrang. She's like, oh, it's not even that cold. Like, why are you wearing that? And it's just like, girl, calm down. We have the Beauxbaton girls and like Vila.
You should have brought a cloak.
Where she's like, oh, no one's forcing you to stay, you know? And also divination.
Also, is that true? It is their school.
Yeah. No, but she just takes it as like everyone's excited and she's just a stick in the mud. And it's like, because divination, like I understand, but part of it is like everyone's enthused about it. And rather than being like, oh, okay, well, this is like, we talk about Hermione being empathetic a lot, but like when it comes to the masses, like all of Hogwarts, and I know that divination might be a little bit of a stretch to say, but rather than empathizing and being like, well, why would people like this, and I know you have
Yes.
strong thoughts about divination specifically, but there's moments where it seems like Hermione just doesn't want other people like what Hermione likes is somehow superior than what other people like.
Exact.
That's what it
Bingo.
feels like.
I think you're right on it. That was what was floating around in my head, is that she's really cocksure about like what it means to be important and interesting.
Mm-hmm. Rather than like
at this
it's
point in
just,
her life in particular.
well, yeah, it
I mean-
kind of goes in contrast with the spew thing, like with the
That's
house
right.
elves, where it's just like,
That's
how
what
can
I
you
was
people be
thinking about.
having fun when there's this like
We have real problems.
yeah.
Well, it's interesting because it's very applicable to everyday life, especially with instant media.
Mm.
And I think the concept of like, I don't know, needing to be sure about what is important and not really having any time for anything else.
Well, I wonder if part of this is related to her, like, she kind of prides herself at being the smartest or knowing more and all of that. And it kind of, in this, like, I don't know, psychological way, like, feeling like she's left behind. Like, she doesn't get to stand out. If everyone likes something, then there's, you don't get to stand out.
That
above
was
the
my
crowd.
first reaction, to be over it, because Hogwarts or students seem to be getting ignored, or the things that she's grown accustomed to being like excellent in are now disheveled a little bit, and there's all this attention on something that maybe she thinks isn't as important as
It just seems a little I don't know. It's
the irony being, when all is said and done, she will have probably the strongest relationship with any of the people that aren't from Hogwarts. And it's interesting to reflect upon, like, yes, I'm not a fan of her attitude in this chapter, but it does put her in a relatively unique position to, like, not keep these guests on pedestals as long as maybe some of the other students.
The girls that they were walking by, they were like, "Oh, do you think Crum can sign with my lipstick?" Like, it's just, it's kind of, I mean,
it's really extra.
It is super extra. It's over the top. It's a little
but it's
too much.
like, famous people.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's very real. I mean, even though it feels like it's totally extra and over the top, I think real people are that as well, very frequently. So it's, I'm Hermione.
I was thinking of you as I was reading this. I was like, oh my gosh, Jeff.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's fine. I'm more interested in the Triwizard Tournament. I'm interested in that.
I think the difference, though, is, well, I don't know, maybe among friends you would be kind of snarky and annoyed. Like, it's just, okay, you don't like this, but
I don't vocalize it in that way.
Are you trying to, because it comes off very mean. Like, can you not be so...
Am I mean? Am I mean to people?
Well, I don't think you would say it to their face as they're like walking by, like that's what she's doing.
No,
basically.
I'm not an under the breath
she's
person
just like
ever, no.
she's
No,
super like, okay, calm down, it's fine. We see Crouch and Bagman again.
Yes, we do.
Dun, dun, dun. I didn't really have much to say about them because like they're not really
Crouch looks
featured.
Bored and uninterested.
Yeah.
Clue.
Oh. Glue.
It is a clue.
Oh,
it is a clue.
I do have the illustrated version, which I wanted to show off a picture for the people who are watching on some sort of video form right now, because I'm pretty sure when I first got this book, I opened it to this page and I was like, who is this? And I couldn't remember if we had a picture of Crum before, but I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be Crum.
Viktor.
Can you see this?
Yes, because I think we talked about this as looking like...
It looks like Credence Barebone. Like, or some,
Dumbledore.
Like, emo version of Kylo Ren or something. I don't know. I mean, Kylo Ren is pretty emo, but, like, I don't know what... I mean, that was not what... I mean, also the movies, but I can't imagine Crum being, like, a little scrawny, little...
No, I don't either,
hair swoop kid, but...
Yeah. No, I like the movie portrayal of him actually quite a bit.
He's just like...
Yeah, but he's like a sensitive person, and he's not sure how to act because everyone like fawns over
Well,
his
it's
words and
interesting
stuff.
because
He's just a kid.
we also have a moment where Harry
Harold?
becomes the subject of attention as
Yes, he does.
Karkaroff and like half of Durmstrang is just like standing there.
Yes.
That one kid is just like, look at his scar. And it's
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh. Poor
Harry, man, he'll never escape it.
No.
Even 19 years later, you know?
Nope.
Yeah.
The chosen one.
This is such a long chapter.
It is.
Especially because it has like many, many scenes, it feels like, where they're short and it's like hop here, hop there, age line, Karkaroff, Crum, Fleur and the food, Hagrid. Yeah, that Hagrid scene could be its own chapter. It's long enough. And so he's puts the kibosh on Spew, S-P-E-W, very quickly.
I mean, were you surprised by that?
I mean, it's hard
Just
for me to read
his reaction. Well, yeah, but like his reaction was Hagrid of all people would be, I think, someone to not just recirculate the things that everyone else does.
Yes, agreed. I wonder if he's coming at it from a slightly different perspective as somebody who is discriminated against, as saying like, just leave them alone.
Yeah.
Just leave them alone. If they want something, they'll ask.
Well, because, yeah, if you draw attention to it, I mean, I think there is some wisdom there of it from that perspective of.
Yes, but he could still be wrong. And arguably he is. I mean, they're always tethered together, right? Anyone's opinion is part of this web of reality. And as part of that web, there is both of the things are true. One is this looks like slavery and likely is, and the house elves don't often vocalize their antipathy towards it.
I think the toughest part for me was his reaction and rationalization of Dobby. Saying
just being weird.
He's a weirdo. Yes. You know, he's different. The rest of them aren't like Dobby. And that to me is like, well, yeah, like I don't know. It's hard to like kind of reconcile those two pieces for me, especially given the Hagrid's own
I do not like his position on Dobby. I think that's flawed. I think he would be more curious by it. So as far as like, is this out of character for Hagrid? It feels like it.
Yeah.
But so does the rest of the chapter where he's like,
well, yeah,
he doesn't feel like himself.
To be fair, I guess, to Hagrid, he actually doesn't want to have this conversation with Hermione. He wants to
he's got to skedaddle.
Get ready, put his cologne on to smell.
What I will say is that I suspect that Hagrid could be convinced otherwise sooner than some other people. But I think in general, like for me, yes. So the more you probe at it with me, I feel like, yes, it is a bit, it doesn't feel super consistent to me. He should have had, if he wasn't going to be part of SPEW, he should have had a more unique reason why. And it just kind of mimicked what Ron said. And that doesn't feel satisfying for somebody who, because even the whole premise is Hermione's like, oh my gosh, Hagrid will definitely join.
Yep.
Right.
Yep, she got super excited about it. Then, sorry.
It'd be more interesting if he was like, I'm in a wait and see mode. Can we go talk to them and have a scene where they talk to him and Hagrid is there? They talk to some of. I'm sure he's talked to them more than maybe most. I'm sure he's been to the kitchen for some reason. In my mind, he would be somebody who actually like knows them, maybe even by name, some of them. But that also may color his opinion because it is likely that under Hagrid, these house elves, under Dumbledore, the house elves are treated better than them in general, and he may not.
That is
be thinking
very true. It could be a very specific understanding. I feel like yes, but I can't point to a specific moment that I'm like, oh yeah, remember because blah blah blah. Like I don't know, honestly.
Interesting.
So Goblet of Fire, that whole thing.
Goblet.
I kind of I kind of wanted Angelina's name to be pulled, though we know what happens to Cedric later, so that's good. But it's
Yeah,
funny because
yeah.
so Angelina is the same year, I think, as Fred and George, but it just so happens like her birthday was last week and their birthday is like April, so
Right.
in the spring. So because I was like, oh, Angelina, and little Fred, he's like, oh, I hope Angelina gets in. I'm just like, for Angelina.
Yes, I do like the plot leverage that having a Hufflepuff student gives.
Mm.
Like, it's interesting. If it was just another Gryffindor,
Oh
it'd be like, oh,
man.
of course it's a
But
Gryffindor.
Harry was like, he was
Can't
not
can't root for
having
Slytherin.
can't have a
Yeah.
Slytherin champion.
He
It's like,
doesn't even
where's
know that guy.
where I know.
That's the thing that bothers me about that. Yeah.
What's your
No.
deal, Harry?
Well, it is true that this whole I think we all know reading this that like the houses are a form of
They're
discrimination
super
constantly.
important. I mean, Dumbledore talks about the people,
Yeah.
Miss Fawcett of Ravenclaw and Mr. What's his face, Summers of Hufflepuff. Like it's literally part of your title, or like in that sort of way.
Yes, and the reputations of the group hold sway on individual opinions very frequently.
Mhm.
Maybe all the time. They're always a part of the situation,
Yep.
which is the strongest part of the I can't even remember the name, but the thing with Harry's child, cursed child,
About what?
like being in Slytherin but not being
Oh,
evil. Like, I mean, I
yeah.
think, and we have friends in real life that like when you do these little fun sorting things and they get placed in Slytherin, they're
They
like,
want to
well,
retake it.
yeah, well, like it's fine.
Yeah.
It's not like they should be thought of as lesser by people who aren't that, despite the pattern of
Mhm.
like that most, if not all, Death Eaters came from Slytherin.
Mhm.
So it could be true that all Death Eaters were Slytherin, but not all Slytherin were Death Eaters.
It doesn't seem that the other two schools have houses like that.
No, it
I
doesn't.
mean, obviously, there's a backstory for why houses exist in Hogwarts. You had 4 founders, which is also interesting. Like,
Yep.
you had 4 people, and they're like, "Oh, this is who we should accept," rather than actually, I don't remember when I looked up the 2 schools, if it had information about the founder or founders. Like,
Right.
was it one person? Was it multiple people? How was that established? But it just kind of highlights like how well, it's either like, oh, can you imagine trying to set up other sorting systems for other schools? Like, and maybe it's just easier for her to be like, nope, just everyone is this school and that's it. Despite also, they had, from the last chapter, they had more students. That's what it said in the details when I was looking at the Wizarding World writings.
Yes. Yes. I also love that moment where Dumbledore's like, I estimate the goblet needs about another minute. He says that at one
Oh, I
point
didn't
to
catch that.
produce the champions.
Oh.
They're all gathered, and he's like, I think the goblet needs about another minute. It's like a cooking thing. It's really interesting to me. It's always stuck out to me as like, what does this even mean? So he's like reading it. He's
Yeah, maybe it
magically
has
connected to it. He can
maybe
see
well,
it.
because Dumbledore is a Legilimens, right? No.
Yeah, I
Yes,
mean,
he's a powerful wizard.
yes.
So, like, what if it has, like, thoughts and Dumbledore is, like,
But
in its
absolutely
thoughts?
could be. Absolutely could be it. But yeah, I mean, it to some extent, it's like oddly anticlimactic. The whole thing of it, right? Where
Well,
it's
it's
like
not the
you put
movie.
in the thing, well, yes, but even in the movie where like you p- you build it up and you put in your slips of paper and then it just spits them out. It's not like there's any real fanfare. It turns color and spits them out. Spits out a piece of
I
parchment.
didn't say that's fanfare.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's like
But
a
it's
it's
not
a
like
ceremony.
but I think for me, it's like when I think about like Muggle sporting events, where like everything is like boom, big fireworks, all this stuff. Like anytime there's any like, okay, never mind. It doesn't matter. It just always feels there's something. It's the ancientness of it that it's like this kind of quaint magical thing. It's just this
Mm.
like. Because Harry even thinks to himself, like, it would be like you wouldn't even think about it except for that there's fire in it.
Yeah,
It's
well,
just
yeah,
like
it's
this
just a
weird
wooden cup.
cup. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know. Yeah.
And then the chapter ends, Harry Potter.
I know, man. What the
Harry
heck?
Potter. Well, he didn't even like. I mean, I don't know. Like,
he's finally in the background.
yeah, he's
I
like,
mean,
oh, great.
he has his
great.
moment that you pointed out with Karkaroff, but like for the most part, people are like obsessed with Crum and all these new people and like not really thinking about Harry. I mean, even the Creevy Dennis is like up on the chair looking at like
Mhm.
other things. I think the goblet, not
Mhm.
Harry, you know. And then
Mhm.
poor Harry.
Well, that's what you get for being the chosen one. I mean, sorry, this is your life. Deal with
It's
it.
your fault.
No,
Yeah.
it's not his fault. It's Voldemort's fault. But he's not here right now. Can't come to the phone right now.
But
So we have Harry.
now we are off and running because
Harry?
we're gonna have Rita. We got Harry.
Oh no,
Dumbledore
Harry
asking
Potter,
calmly
age 12.
questions. Yeah, I mean, man, we're off and running now. I
Mhm.
feel like this book is obviously a huge length. We've talked about it
Mhm.
compared to third
It's a chunker.
and what comes before.
Yeah.
And so, like, to some extent, it feels like we've read another book and we haven't even really started to some.
Well, it took us like 10 chapters to get to
Some weird
Hogwarts, so this
Yes,
is
exactly. Yeah.
this is act 2 of the 5-act play or whatever.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Harry knows about the Chamber of Secrets being opened like on day 2, chapter 3. But yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Alrighty.
Okay, well that's all.
Until next time.
Wand's ready.